We are 11 days away from the federal election, and tonight we have our next 5-minute debrief at the desk with the leaders on the key campaign promises, and Liberal leader Justin Trudeau joins me now. Welcome to the National Newsroom.
Good to be back, Lisa.
So 11 days to go, and still a third of Canadians have not decided who to vote for. It seems like the one thing they have decided, though, is that they are losing confidence in politics. They're also losing confidence in you after 4 years of what they say are promises they did not see fulfilled. So I just wonder if you bear any responsibility for that erosion of trust.
I think any government that is as ambitious as ours is going to continue to work really hard to try and achieve everything we need to do. And that's the choice facing Canadians right now. We've done lots of great things over the past 4 years, but we need to do even more. We need to continue. And that's the reflection that Canadians have right now.
Canadians are craving real answers. They don't want the talking points. They want real answers on everything from pharmacare to affordable housing. So are you underestimating them in a campaign that seems to continually be calling out the Harper government or Ford or Kenny now?
Well, the Conservatives actually haven't put forward an election platform. So
but again, they want to know what you...
But all we have to see is elections are choices.
But if we look at the last 4 years, and this is what Canadians are saying, there's still 56 First Nations with boil water advisory.
But 87 of them without, that we ended after many years of not having done anything on that under previous governments. We have made steps.
Crumbling infrastructure that has not been fixed. That was a huge promise in 2015.
And we invested more over the past 4 years than any government has in history. And yes, we have to continue.
But it's
we
not
have done that.
ending up in the cities. We're still seeing bridges and...
No, we've got new transport and new transportation infrastructure, new investments. Yes, there have been provinces dragging their heels on investments, but there are others and municipalities we've invested in directly because, again, unfortunately, some Conservative premiers like Doug Ford are not wanting to invest in their communities.
Okay, so Canadians are also very worried about a recession. They see billions more dollars of their money being spent on, election promises.
On investments in youth, on investments in seniors. The best way to make sure people can make it through tougher times in the economy is to have invested so that they have greater opportunities, so they have more confidence.
So many things have not really been discussed because of other issues on the campaign trail. So I just want to talk about, Canada's fractured relations with a resurgent Russia, a more aggressive China, and the two Canadians still in prison. How can voters trust that another Liberal government, another 4 years, won't allow our core security to further diminish?
We have strengthened our security. We have stood up for Canadian interest. We've stood up for those Canadians arbitrarily detained. We have continued to consistently defend Canada's interests like we did against Donald Trump in the renegotiation of NAFTA. We secured access to our most important partner at a time of unpredictability and, quite frankly, protectionism in a way that pulled all Canadians together.
I would say that certainly the Canadians, their families, but the farmers, canola farmers, they don't feel that. They feel very vulnerable right now and at the mercy of this fractured relation.
But we cannot back off on Canadian values. We cannot stop defending Canadians who've been arbitrarily detained. We're continuing to try and make sure that we are defending Canadian interests, but we have to stand up for our values unequivocally at the same time.
It's been over a year since Jamal Khashoggi was murdered. What about Saudi Arabia? We still have heard nothing on the status of the contract with the military vehicles. So Canadians are essentially being asked to make a decision on who to vote for without all the information on an issue that many feel is fundamentally important.
We've continued to defend the hardworking Canadians in London who have worked hard on this contract that Stephen Harper signed that has massive penalties if we get out of, but we have not emitted any new export permits since the killing of Jamal Khashoggi, and we're going to continue to stand strongly for human rights against countries like Saudi Arabia that haven't been respectful.
I'm just not clear, though, on what you're saying here. So on that military contract in London, you've said for months now, for a year, that that contract is under review. Is it still under review?
It is still under review, but at the same time, we were able to secure more of those jobs in London by making sure that the Canadian military is going to buy light armored vehicles for our own use.
So you talk about jobs, and that's certainly been your defense on the SNC ethics violation, and yet the other night at the debate, again, you called the Globe and Mail story false. So I don't understand why you still deny that.
I did not I do not feel I put undue pressure on the Attorney General, because the job of a Prime Minister is to make sure that people are looking out for jobs, make sure that we're always looking out for Canadians.
So the end of that then is the ethics commissioner was wrong, even though you accept the report.
His report, and we're bringing in all the measures of the expert report we had on how to make sure no government goes through this before. A Prime Minister needs to stand up for Canadians and needs to stand up for jobs and the public interest, and I will not apologize for defending Canadians' jobs in a way that also defends our justice system.
All right, well, you have under 2 weeks to go, not a lot of runway left. We thank you so much for
an important
making
choice
the time.
Canadians are facing. Are we going to keep moving forward, or do we go back to the Harper years?
Mr. Trudeau, thanks for joining us in the newsroom tonight.
It was a pleasure.